Miami, of course, it's the Tua show, at least allegedly this year. And you got him down at 360 out of 568, a little over 4,100 yards, 30 touchdowns, 13 picks. Those are generous stats, in my opinion, to go along with 56 rushes, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was good enough, at least when I initially did my research, for 16th on your projection board and 21 on the big board.
Yep, that's about where he lines up. There's obviously some risk with Tua, but they fully went all in this year. All the reports are he has been lighting it up down deep in practice. The big issue with me now, though, is all his receivers have been hurt the entire time, save Jaylen Waddle. I don't know where everybody is. Fuller still hasn't practiced. Parker's been in and out throughout the time, and that's kind of what this receiving core is. Preston Williams hasn't been seen from yet. It's a pretty gross receiving core in that sense. But ultimately, if they are out on the field, I mean, Fuller and Waddle can run as fast as anybody in the league, save Tyreek Hill. Parker, we've seen, be a big body possession guy that can go up and get it when you're in trouble. So Tua does have some weapons around him. If he has, he was so tentative last year, seems scared. If that truly is changed, and it looks like so far this preseason, he's passing the eye test, save a horrible interception in his first contest.
Yeah.
He has looked significantly better. And that's with throwing to nobody. So I am slowly starting to buy into Tua. There's second quarterbacks I like more, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, even Big Ben, after what we saw in this preseason week 2 with him slinging the rock and looking like he's 5 years younger. There's definitely some guys I prefer as a QB2, but I don't mind Tua. And as you said, the 3 rushing touchdowns, about 300 yards, not like a Konami threat in the sense of Josh Allen, who we were just talking about, but still has some legs, still can move the change. A little bit like Mahomes in that sense. Like, he's not going to run all over the field, but he can pick you up 10, 5, a little rushing touchdown every couple of weeks. Like, he's that type of Konami.
And they had this is just a slight offshoot of that. I was looking at a picture from like the quarterback room from back when he was at Bama. They had him, Mac Jones, and Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Room, basically. That's kind of cool.
Pretty good recruiting over there at Bama. They've done a decent job, I'd say.
Yeah, they've done all right for themselves.
Right.
All right, let's move on to running back. And you do have a bit of a change that's going to be coming here in the form of Myles Gaskin. I'll just say before, so you had him at 170 carries for 734 and 5 touchdowns to go along with kind of pedestrian receiving numbers. At the time that you made that, you had him as your running back 34 projections. I think you're liking him a little more, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if you wrote down exactly where he's landed on my big board in the last.
You had him at 31, I want to say.
Yeah, so I bumped him up a tad. So let's go through that. Based on, I bumped him down pretty hard. Sometimes I react a little too aggressively to preseason action, but when a 7th-round running back, Gaskin, did great under the coaching staff last year, but they have a new play caller coming in, and then they go and start the free agent they brought in, I started to get worried that maybe this is going to truly be a Malcolm Brown backfield. He started the first preseason game. Thankfully, Gaskin was in first this last week. He did play ahead of Malcolm Brown, who only saw 5 snaps with Tua. But then also Salvon Ahmed played 13 to 19 for Gaskin. Gaskin was in for 19 of 37 first-team snaps, so about a 50% snap share there. And I think that's reasonable. I have him here at 40. I'm going to bump him up to, let's call it 43. So a slight bump up there. I'm going to bring up Ahmed and bump down Brown, who was again the 3rd guy in. So let's put Brown now at 15, and then let's see what that leaves us for Ahmed, who I do think is actually, he brings a nice speed element. The coach has talked a lot about wanting to use a 3-back committee. So I think this seems about fair, right? Like 43% of this ground pie, which 432 attempts isn't all that high. No. 43 going to Gaskin, 27 going to Ahmed, and about 15 to Malcolm Brown. You never want something that's like that evenly distributed anyways, except Gaskin does have a little bit of burst to his game. So I think I'm underplaying the yards per carry. I think I could bump that up to about 4.7. That's going to get him to right around 800. Yeah, 874. So that's a decent bump. And we saw it this weekend catching that touchdown. He is a pretty explosive receiver when he gets the chance. So that might go a lot to Ahmed. I think this receiving distribution, it's very unclear. It's like a 3-way split for receiving work. So I'm just going to leave that untouched. But a little bit of bump up for Gaskin. That will bring him probably right around in line with that 31 on the big board, 31 in the projections here, bumping him up.
But again, just like we said with the Bills backfield, it's not like you're super excited about it.
No. And neither am I really for these receivers all that much.
Oh, gosh. Oh, we're getting to that. There's
Okay.
nothing to really be too excited about there. Real quick, why don't you change the banner at the bottom? You still got the Bills up.
Oh, good call. Thank you for that.
Right. So we referred to these, receivers: Will Fuller, Jaylen Waddle, Devontae Parker. Okay. So there have been a few changes. I'll just say your projections, you had Waddle actually at 35, Fuller at 48, Parker at 54. The big board, and I believe some of those have changed, but the big board, you had Waddle all the way up at 44, Fuller 51, Devontae Parker 67. I believe those are current. I don't want to read out the stats because I don't want to get them wrong, but I think you had Waddle with 104 targets leading the way.
Yep, and that's still what I have here. And I don't know whether I'm going to change a ton because it's still tricky to get a read on what's going to happen when they actually have Fuller and Parker in the lineup alongside Waddle. We saw Waddle get peppered this last weekend as the clear alpha. He's by far the most intriguing guy, as you can see in those rankings. Like the only guy I think could truly emerge as a difference maker. That's why I have him ranked so far ahead of these guys, even though the projections are all kind of shaking out similarly. I do think Waddle brings so much speed, but also run after the catchability. And that's an element they were missing last year. That's what Tua does the best, is those anticipation, those timing throws, a quick slant from Waddle that he hits him in stride. Waddle takes to the house. That's the type of play I'm envisioning happening quite often for Jaylen Waddle, depending on how they use him. I don't have all that much faith that this offensive, it's the run game and the tight end coach of last year merging to make this offense. I don't know what that's going to look like. It hasn't looked all that great to start the preseason, but if there's one receiver here that I want to target, it is absolutely Jaylen Waddle, who I have going for 69 catches, 938 yards, 6 TDs. Those TDs could certainly bump up if Will Fuller gets hurt, as he always does, if Parker gets hurt, as he always does. But I should also preface that by saying Waddle is not a injury-free guy. He was banged up all of college. Every single year was dealing with something. And I imagine that's going to continue. That's why I was kind of surprised they went after him, given that how they already have so many injury-prone guys. I do like him the most by far out of all these guys, though.
Yeah, I like him the most too, but it's like I'm trying to think of a group of 3 lousy things, and then you like one of them the best. But I'm coming up with a little bit of a blank right there. And it's like Christopher, Paulie Walnuts, and Silvio, and you're like, yeah. Silvio is the smartest on The Sopranos.
Okay. Right, exactly. Yeah, the skinniest guy at obese camp type of thing.
Right. Man, look at him. He's like a solid 270. Right. All right. Let's go and let's look at it. That's that trim guy over there. Anyway, let's talk Mike Gesicki. That's your tight end. You had him as your tight end 8, actually, by projections, and tight end 12 on your big board. 62 catches, almost 800 yards, 9 touchdowns, right around 100 targets.
Yeah, big into Gesicki, the second on the target totem pole, in my opinion here, behind only Waddle. And honestly, at the end of the year, given the injuries that could happen to that receiver core, wouldn't be shocked at all if Gesicki paced this team in targets. In fact, he did over Tua's starts throughout last year. First preseason game, Tua threw 6 of his 11 passes to a tight end. 3 of them were to Gesicki, which he ripped up for 50 yards, had another 40-yard catch in week 2, showing all that big play athleticism. I guess the one concern I have with Gesicki is he doesn't play a ton of 2 tight end sets or even single tight end sets unless it's a clear-cut passing down. He kind of rotates in on those snaps, and it's been very tricky historically for a tight end that's a pass-catching specialist only to truly carve out top 10 fantasy status. Gesicki did it last year. I think he could do it again because Tua loves him so much, and he's such a good athlete. But yeah, he is going to climb an uphill battle if he doesn't grow into a true tight end every down guy, which so far this preseason, he hasn't been, even though he's been making plays all over the field. So that's kind of the balance there for me. But yeah, I have him projected for the second most targets and fantasy points among these wide receivers and tight end pass catching core. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.